see you. Good evening, sir.
Carry on.
Yes, I love you. Take your clothes off and come down here, young man.
That's a good rejoinder.
That's not one of the paintings, by the way.
That'll take care of him.
It's awful hard to get people to pose in the nude.
I was looking at this. You got some...
The elderly will never pose. You don't see an elderly woman, you know, in one of those magazines.
I just got
It's interesting, a woman 75, shriveled, you know. Nothing I'm paid. I'm not against people. I'm getting shriveled myself, especially there.
I'm looking for one.
What are you looking for?
I'm just looking for one.
Take your time. You won't be graded until well after 8. Pencils down. Time's up. You people with the blue book.
I can't find it now. It was the first and last day of spring.
Oh, yes, that's here. Here, let me...
Where is that? I just happened to see that. Do you know where that is?
I know the book. It's right on the cover.
Oh, look at it.
Oh, here.
First, that's the show. That's
it.
The first and last day of spring.
First and last day of spring. One woman asked me about these little black things. She said, "Are they licorice?" And I said, "Yeah, and they really stick to the town." But it's without, you know, bodies flying in the air and everything. It does tell you these obviously are little trees. I say obviously. A lot of people, to me, it's obvious they're little trees. I painted them. And this is a little village, and then the bombs dropping. It's the first last day. A little comment.
Yes, it is.
It can't happen, you know.
Well, let's hope not.
Might not be in the spring. Might be late September.
Yeah.
I'm not big on predictions. Are you?
No.
No.
You didn't get into art by entering one of those little matchbook ads. They're still out, you know. Could draw the pirate, or have you seen those? Famous art school, you can draw.
Yes, I have seen.
And you draw the parrot or a little pirate, and you send it in.
I did a combination and was still turned down. I did.
You mean they turned somebody down?
Oh, sure. I did the parrot, apparently on the wrong shoulder of the pirate, and then I did the pirate eating the parrot. And the guy sent me a heavy-duty letter. He said, "Obviously, you got big problems." Of course, I was writing from the place.
Yeah. The farm, huh?
Yeah, I was away at the time.
Where did you took art courses?
Oh, yes, I believe in school. I had a tough time in the regular school. When
did trouble start? How old were you when trouble started?
Oh, I would say kindergarten was a problem. Kindergarten was a problem for me. I remember trying to make a clay rabbit and had all day. You know, usually you should be able to make one before lunch. And I just like this, and Mrs. McCauley came over. "How are we doing?" I always bugged me. And I was a little kid then. I had no brothers or sisters. And I didn't have, you know, nearly as much weight. Problem, I was a rather attractive kid, as a matter of fact. At recess, I got lucky, but at any rate, when teachers say, and a lot of people say, you know, "How are we doing?" What does this mean? Why can't you say, "How are you doing?" You know, but they say that in hospitals. "How are we today?" Not good. See him? He doesn't like you.
So Mrs. McCauley was giving you trouble already.
So Mrs. McCauley, she said, "There's no reason for you to continue on in the first grade if you can't make a bunny."
Oh.
But I fooled her. I was kind of a papier-mâché intellectual. I went around her, skipped the first grade entirely, committed myself to the attic, and stayed there. Read a lot of magazines, oh yeah, and listened to the squirrels wandering around, and then came down in time for the second grade. And I had a lot of problems. But I did manage to get through school. I find there are a lot of presidents, not a lot, but a few, that have not had the great education and managed to pick it up later on, you know, maybe through theft, I don't know, or what. But at any rate, in coming out of the service, my father said, which is standard, I think, for most fathers to a boy, he said, "What are you going to do, kid? You haven't done anything for the last 3 years with yourself." Of course, and I was a corporal. I mean, that was a big thing to me. You know, a corporal. I was told that if you made corporal, you were as good as a general.
Yeah.
I believed that. When the man came by in the Jeep on the, you know, at the Navy Yard, and I saluted him, that was my salute, you know? He was an Army general, had no business on a Navy base. I said, "I'm better than you. I'm a corporal in the Marines." Okay? Oh, hey, heavy. So I thought maybe you the guys were coming out with Uzis for a moment. we never know today whether, you know.
We have to cut away for a moment.
Really? Why?
Yeah, Mr. DeCordova is telling
I had
me.
no word on that.
Yes, yes.
Should have briefed me, Johnny.
You didn't hear that, huh?
No, I didn't hear that.
Well, we'll come right back here. Yes, we will.
A little tough to go back this time of year for a lot of reasons. About everybody's gone that I grew up with. I'm sure Ohio has an ample supply of people, but a lot of my people are lying down now permanently. And, so I think that's my chief reason for not going. I got one cousin left, and he's a little tight with the turkey, and you know, you ask him for a little more, dark or white, and it's a lot of that. I'm tired of that gesture, by the way. Yeah. No. So I decided not to go back to Cincinnati, but...
what was it like when you were a kid?
When I was a kid? Well, I was partially electrocuted by a Lionel train. I was at fault. I'm not blaming Lionel. I'm sure some guy from Lionel is sitting up. What did he say about our train coming? No, it was my fault. I had come in from a very snowy evening. I was petting the dog the wrong way to begin with, and so that's the only way you can get a dog's attention sometimes. Do that to his fur. Also do that, and you'll really get his attention. I love to do that on a good snowy day. You see a dog, you know, fairly stiff. But only do it to a small dog, because if it's got a good-sized head on him, boy, he'll eat you alive. But anyway, I'd come in, and I had high tops. Remember high tops?
Sure.
You remember that? If you lived in the Middle West or the East, or maybe they were sent to you in the South, you know. They were high tops. A lot of the people are laughing because they were children or weren't even born. But they were high tops and usually had a knife in your boot so you could kill a guy in the fourth grade. Or get lucky on the turnstile. But I'd come in, my shoes were just soaked.
Oh, boy.
Apparently, we were cheap high tops, and the water went through, and I was setting up the train because Dad was resting. I was told he was resting. He rested for the first 7 years of... it was like this. Hey, how you doing? You know, it's interesting to see a guy really juiced to the gills and bombed. You know, here's a little rosy-faced kid, sort of angelic. I was in those days, and I'd put on makeup. A kid down the block was a little different from me. And put on little discs, you know, and I was trying to do the Nutcracker Suite and everything. And I'm looking at my dad, this is December 24th, you know, Christmas Eve. We're going to set the train up, and he's in a seersucker suit and a swimming trunks, you know. It was just the conversation. Kids never forget. I was an only child. You never forget anything. Two people really on you. My mother saying, "Get a bag." And I said, "Well, it's only 5 o'clock. Go anyway." Back to the dog again. So my old man's like this. Don't put the try to put the train together now.
Your father was celebrating, was he?
He was celebrating something.
Yeah.
I think that his old picture of Hoover fell off the mantle, and so at any rate, I said, "Dad," I asked that stupid question, you know, and having been an alcoholic, I understand it now. I said, "How are you feeling?" I never said, "How are we feeling?" How are you feeling? I'm fine. And my tongue flies out a lot, you know, and so I went over to kiss him, which, you know, even in the 30s you could do that. And most fathers would point, here, never here. So I get, full blast. And so it was at that time with wet shoes that I stepped on the track.
It sounds like a
lot of fun.
Sounds like a warm Christmas day.
And I asked a foolish thing. It was in the coming out of the Depression. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
About the same age. And we were not wealthy. We were wealthy, but it was taken in about an hour. And instantly went to wood toys. So things like broomsticks, you know, with carved faces on them. So stockings were filled full of just walnuts, and that's a bummer, gang, you know. A stocking full of walnuts? Oh, another one. Tell Ben Ford.
Surprise, surprise. Not even an orange, just another walnut.
And there's something about opening up what you think are either wonderful bunny slippers, you know, sheepskin line, or some new Florsheim. And it was the most terrible, I don't know what it was this day. It was something that had been hit in the road coming back. Yeah. Merry Christmas. And this thing's like it.
Oh, these wonderful memories of a warm family Christmas.
I'm dreaming.
We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
What is the stuff that they put in those things?
I'm not sure.
Little squares of jelly-like stuff that's really bad. And little green, it's not licorice and it's not gumdrop stuff. It's just little green things and red things. And then they dip that rascal in heavy rum. And, of course, for the dude that can't drink anymore, it's a gas for me. You know. Oh, how you doing? More rum gang. So I even when I was drinking, though, I did not like, it's interesting. Some people say, does that bother you if you have just one piece of cake? That doesn't bother me. I want the whole cake if you're going to go for it. But fruitcake I didn't like, even with a sauce. You know, when people are standing around with eggnog. That's another drink. Popular. That's a joke, too, is eggnog. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, you know. People get real cute and do this
nutmeg
with a nutmeg. That I don't know what that stuff is. It fell out of the tree early. And it's a lot of this. You'll love this. Merry Christmas to you. Uncle Ed, good to see you. And Uncle Ed's like, how old are we now, Uncle Ed? And he's scratching himself in this area. Must have gotten high on you, Uncle Ed. At any rate.
How about pumpkin pie? Another great holiday treat?
I'm not big on pumpkin pie. Not so far. I wouldn't pass on it, you know, if it was the only thing on the table, but I tell you exactly what I like. It's kind of simple. I love mashed potatoes. You shouldn't have those, you know, unless you've got a 12 waist. But I love mashed potatoes, a lot of gravy.
Oh.
I like to get right to the turkey, and if you don't, it's gone just like that. That's the thing to me. I like to eat around 1:30. And, of course, that's a joke because it's always, we'll eat just when I get ready for it. It's Mrs. Winters. I don't do her very well. Very lovely lady, and I shouldn't kid about her. She has every cent I've got. I love you, sweetheart. I never kid about you. But she always says, look, you can live off what's in front of you. I said I could always put the pillow over you at night, you know.
We gotta go. I gotta do this.
I understand.
Of course you do. We'll be right back.
Have sold it any better.
An elderly woman, you know, in one of those magazines.
I just got
interesting. A woman 75, shriveled, you know. Yeah. Nothing on pay. I'm not against people. I'm getting shriveled myself, especially there.
I'm looking for one.
What are you looking for?
I'm just looking for one.
Take your time. You won't be graded until well after 8. Pencils down. Time's up. You people with the blue book.
I can't find it now. It was the first and last day of spring.
Oh, yes, that's here.
Huh?
Here, let me help
Where is that? I just happened to see that. Do you know where that is?
I know the book. It's right on the cover.
Look at it.
Here.
First, that's the show. That's it. The first and last day of spring.
Yes, I love you. Take your clothes off and come down here, young man.
That's a good rejoinder.
That's not one of the paintings, by the way.
That'll take care of him.
It's awful hard to get people to pose in the nude.
I was looking at this. You got some...
The elderly will never pose. You don't see last day of spring. One woman asked me about these little black things. She said, are they licorice? And I said, yeah, and they really stick to the town. But it's without, you know, bodies flying in the air and everything. It does tell you these obviously are little trees. I say obviously, a lot of people, to me. See you. Good evening, sir.
Carry on.